Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. And on Saturday, the Patriots hit the field once again for their second preseason game of the 2025 NFL season, and they're taking on the Vikings. The Vikings, they made the playoffs last year. They looked really good, but they have a new quarterback coming in with J.J. McCarthy. Probably only going to see him for a drive or two. But it's going to be an interesting day for New England. And like last week, I gave you guys a preview of what to watch for in that game against the Commanders. So this week I figured, why don't we do the same? Except last week I gave you guys players. This week I'm going to give you guys 5 things to look for Patriots Vikings on Saturday. It's a matinee game, 1 p.m. kickoff, and I will be live. We will be live for the game, so make sure you tune in. But I'll give you guys another reminder. Gave it to you guys last week. I'll give it to you next week against the Giants, because you already know, death, taxes, Patriots playing the Giants in the preseason. It just always happens. But this is preseason. Everybody needs to calm down. I know I've been drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much of just how good they look. It's preseason. You're only going to see the starters for probably 2 to 3 drives. And if it's a loss, it's not that big of a deal. If it's a win, even if it's a 48-18 win, it's not the biggest deal. You got to do it on the field once the games actually mean something. So let's get into it. My first thing to watch for, and I mean, it's without a doubt, TreVeyon Henderson again. And we didn't even see a lot of TreVeyon Henderson in week 1 of the preseason. But my God, did he make it known. Opening kickoff. Takes it for 100 yards for a touchdown. Put on the burners. We saw him, I think, catch a couple passes. And then there was just 1 carry from him. And shout out to the offensive line. Shout out to Will Campbell. Shout out to Jared Wilson for getting that block, and he went for 18 yards. You could see the speed. You could see him reading, being a little patient, waiting for that hole to open. He looks like a running back number 1, and I've talked about maybe there could be a running back battle on our hands. But I'm interested to see just how many snaps he will get. Last week, it was just 2 drives with the starters. And when you're a rookie running back, I'm not going to say it's going to take you a little bit to get in rhythm, but you don't want the running back to get hurt. Because what we saw last week with Ramondre Stevenson, where he had 7 carries instead of 1, like TreVeyon Henderson, he got hurt. We don't know what the injury is. They gave an update where he didn't show up to practice on Monday, and then when she got to joint practice against the Minnesota Vikings on Wednesday, he was not in. He was there. He was practicing on the sidelines without pads on, but he was not in full team drills. Mike Vrabel didn't say what it was. He said it would be short term. It's nothing serious, but that's why you don't want to play your running backs that much, because they could get hurt. So I expect, especially since how good TreVeyon Henderson has been, they've seen enough. They'll save him for the regular season. I'll ask you guys, though, because I think we have a running back battle on our hands. And I think TreVeyon Henderson, now he's getting the first team reps with Ramondre out. This could be really big on our hands. So who do you think is going to be the starter? Ramondre or TreVeyon Henderson? Type RS for Ramondre or type TH for TreVeyon. Second thing I'm looking at is the offensive line, because if we saw what the offensive line did during last week, it was decent, but I want it to be better. And then in joint practice, it really didn't look good. They let up about 6 sacks. Will Campbell let up a couple of them. But I'm hoping that Morgan Moses can get back into rhythm and not just sit there just waiting. You see right here, Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, Garrett Bradbury, Mike Onwenu, and Morgan Moses are your starters. You're going to see Marcus Bryant get in there a little bit. Hopefully Ben Brown will get in there at center, get some reps. But I'm really specifically looking at how the starting 5 is going to be. Because when it comes to what we saw during training or during the joint practice, that was where it really kind of didn't look the best. It was Will Campbell letting up a little bit, Drake Maye making a little bit with his legs. But in that first preseason game, guess what? PFF, they graded him the top guy in the NFL for rookies. 85.4 PFF grade, 8 pass blocking snaps, big goose egg, 0 pressures allowed. He did have a couple pancakes. I think a couple guys beat him, but nothing where it was a pressure allowed. I want to see Will Campbell get as many snaps as possible. I want to see him get as many reps as he possibly can. Going from college to the NFL is a big transition, and if he only plays 2 snaps, or not two snaps, if he only plays 2 drives, I'm a little concerned about that because once you get into the actual game speed with the starters, playing every single play on the field when you get into the regular season, he might not be used to that. It's a big difference between, I know it's SEC, big difference between that and the NFL. So I'd like to see him get at least a whole quarter in, maybe even a half. I would expect that, but I think they just want to keep him a little bit healthier. Also, looking at starting center Garrett Bradbury. Is he going to be our starter going into week 1 against the Raiders? Because there's been rumors that Ben Brown could take that spot over. He was very, very, very engaged, energy against the joint practice against the Vikings, and you kind of expected that when he used to play for the Vikings, for crying out loud. Well, on that Henderson 70-yard touchdown, he was that first guy to be there celebrating with the running back. So he is taking this seriously. And I'm looking forward to just see him getting more reps with this team because he's also new. But if you look at this picture from last week, where's the defense? They're not getting to Drake Maye. He's standing back there looking good. So can we please have this same exact picture happen against the Vikings? Can we please look protected? There's no one there. Everybody is getting their guy one-on-one, and it's beautiful to see. And I'm hoping, praying, that this is going to be a sign of what we have to come for the Patriots in 2025. And, of course, when we have that game on Saturday against the Minnesota Vikings, we will be live at 12 p.m. Eastern, an hour before kickoff, breaking it all down, telling you what to look for, some of the players, what happened at the joint practice on Thursday. We're going to be talking all about it. So make sure that you subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss out because it's an early game. You might forget. Turn on your notifications when you subscribe, have that ding, and you can see, oh, the Patriots are playing. Got to tune in to Patriots Today. Third takeaway, or third one to watch for, is the wide receivers. I don't know if we're going to see Stefon Diggs. I really don't know if we're going to see Stefon Diggs. But I'm expecting a lot out of Kayshon Boutte. I'm seeing a lot out of our guy, Efton Chisholm. You know Kendrick Bourne is not going to be playing. You know that probably we're not going to see Jalen Polk because he's still hurt. But Pop Douglas is going to get some reps. Yeah, Kendrick Bourne is listed as wide receiver too because that's the Patriots depth chart. I don't agree with it at all. Kayshon Boutte is it. But I expect to see Matt Collins back on the field because he's now fully healthy. He's practicing full-time. I'm looking at Kyle Williams. I'm looking at Efton Chisholm. I'm looking at Javon Baker because those three guys are your kind of new, well, Baker's fighting for a roster spot, so is Efton Chisholm. But Chisholm and Williams are your two rookies, and I'm looking specifically at those guys to get more reps. We saw Williams last week, and he was looking fast, but he did not get the ball because Josh Dobbs couldn't get him the ball. Hopefully, Ben Wildridge can get the ball. Maybe both of them can get some reps in the first drive with Drake Maye. Just get some quarterback because look at what Chisholm did during practice. Yeah, that's Efton Chisholm making the play, jumping up, going up and grabbing it. That's what he can do, and I'm excited to see that. I want to see it happen on the field, and I want to see a quarterback who can get in the ball because Josh Dobbs missed Kyle Williams on a perfect slant over the middle for a touchdown, and it pissed me off. It really did. And when it comes to Baker, I think he's secured his roster spot because now with Marcellus Dial out, he is that gunner. He is now your other gunner next to Brendan Schooler. So I'm excited to see what Baker can do at the special team spot because he made a lot of good tackles going in against that Commanders game. And I'm sure they saw it, and they're probably going to play him at it again because he said it. You put me anywhere on the field, and I'm going to try my ass off, and I'm going to try to make this team be productive. I like that about Baker. I know he celebrates a lot, but I'm excited to see him at special teams. Going to get to the rest of the things to see going into Saturday, but you got this deal going on right now. $32.99 for this Patriots cut-off hoodie. I need to get more gear. This shirt is from 2014. That's the season. And I need to get on this deal, and you do too. Chatsports.com/PatsHoodie. You can have that in the comments and description of today's video. It's a cutoff hoodie. You can wear it while you're working out. You can wear it while you're out. Well, it's still a little chilly, but it's still a little warm. I'm not going to have you wear it once it gets to December, but we're not in December. We're in August, and you can still wear that for long. So get it while supplies last. Chatsports.com/PatsHoodie. Another thing to watch for, and it's particular, Kyle Duggar. And we've talked about Kyle Duggar a lot on this channel since this week because we didn't expect it, but it's come. And I talked about it a lot throughout the season, or throughout the offseason, that he could be a potential trade candidate. He could be a potential cut candidate. And everybody in the comments were like, Brett, he's been a dog this whole entire time. No, that's never going to happen. Well, on Monday, when the practice happened, Kyle Duggar was running with the second team. He has been demoted. He lost his starting spot. And Mike Vrabel talked about it at the joint practice before practice against the Vikings, and he said, look, you earn your spot, and those other guys have earned their spot. Kyle Duggar, he needs to play better. He needs to practice better to get his spot back. That's what Mike Vrabel said. And Jalen Hawkins, Jabril Peppers, and Craig Woodson all passed him in the starting defense. He is now the fourth safety. So not even your guy that's going to sub in. No, fourth, because Jalen Hawkins is the guy that's rotating. It's just kind of crazy to me how far Kyle Duggar has fallen at this point. D2 prospect coming out of Lenore Rhine. Shout out to them. My cousin went to school there, and he was a dog coming out. 2021, 2022, 2023. He was playing really good. Last year, he fell off a little bit. Now, he had a couple injuries, but he cannot guard. And then I compared the two because I saw Kyle Duggar playing in the second half, and that is never usually good for a vet and a starter. Here's your snaps. Jalen Hawkins, 27 snaps, 2 tackles, 72 PFF grade. Then you had Kyle Duggar, 18 snaps, 0 tackles, 56.4 PFF grade. And a lot of people were talking about if he could be trade bait, which I 100% think he could be trade bait. You can't cut him. It would be $14 million in dead cap, and the Patriots do not want to take on that cap space. They do not want to take on that dead cap, so you have to look for a trade candidate. And if you see a lot of Duggar on Saturday, if you see a lot of him playing on the field in the second half, in the third and fourth quarter, they're trying to build trade value for this guy. They're really trying to build trade value for Duggar. And I don't know if he's going to be on this team. I really don't. I think it's a big possibility that they're going to look forward to moving him before the season starts. And we'll find out August 26th on Cutdown Day. I'll ask you guys. Predict it. Will Kyle Duggar be traded? I'm going to go with yes. I think just with how the Patriots have used him in the recent works, I think he's going to get traded. Go down in the comments. Give me a Y for yes or an M for no if Duggar will be traded. And the fifth one, it's got to be the kicker battle. Because the question that everybody's asking, do the Patriots have 2 kickers? Do they have 2 kickers? It is up to Mr. Andy Borregales or John Parker Romo. And nobody can decide. Nobody knows who is going to win this kicker battle because one day it looks like Andy Borregales is the guy, and the next day it looks like John Parker Romo is the guy. They truly have no idea who it's going to be. And I have it right now in my depth chart. I have Andy Borregales as your kicker. And I said, you traded for him, or not traded for him, you drafted him in the 6th round. You got to pick who's that guy that is going to be drafted because you drafted him for a reason. But you had the special teams coordinator, Jeremy Springer, come out and talk about it. And then he said, this won't be a tiebreaker about him being drafted. He said it doesn't matter if you're drafted or undrafted or if we picked you up in free agency. Coach Vrabel's message is very clear. You got to earn your role. And if you earned your role through consistency, showing up every day, to me, that's the guy that's going to win the job. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who they are. I thought that was a little different because Andy Borregales had a chance to, you're drafted. You don't want to waste a draft pick and just get rid of them, but that could possibly happen. And on August 11th, this was practice. Andy Borregales went 2 for 5. But also, John Parker Romo went 1 for 4. And then last week, against the Commanders, they both played great. Borregales didn't miss a kick. John Parker Romo hit a 57-yarder. 3 for 3 for both of them. But then you had today where Borregales was the sole kicker in joint practice. I expect John Parker Romo to probably be the sole kicker tomorrow or during Thursday's practice. But Borregales went 5 for 6. So we'll see what John Parker Romo does at the time of this recording because he hasn't practiced with the joint practice yet. But Borregales went 5 for 6, made a 51-yarder, missed a 54-yarder. The battle's wide open, people. It's going to go down to the final day of cut days. It's going to come down to it because if Borregales looks good in the second preseason game and Parker Romo doesn't, and then Borregales doesn't look good and Parker Romo does look good, it's just a toss-up at this point, man. I have no idea. I don't know who I want to keep. I personally don't. If you just had to, you forced me to choose, I'd choose the draft pick out of Miami. But I just hope they make the right decision because you're going to be kicking yourself in the foot if you picked Borregales and John Parker Romo goes somewhere else and he sucks, and vice versa. So kicker is very important to me. It is very, 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 very important to me. I need someone who's going to be money from 50 yards. You have to have a trustworthy kicker. Remember Stephen Gostkowski, trustworthy kicker. And then Nick Folk, trustworthy kicker. Chad Ryland, not a trustworthy kicker. You need to have a good kicker. Here's my prediction, though. I'll give a little score prediction. I think the Patriots are going to win this. After seeing them in joint practice, I think that the Patriots are going to have the upper hand. I wouldn't say they're a better team. I'll say they have better backups because it's preseason. You're only going to see Drake Maye. You're only going to see a couple of these guys for a few drives, and it's going to come down to Ben Wooldridge and Josh Dobbs. And if you looked at the Vikings backups, they didn't look good either. So I got to go with the Patriots. Give me your score prediction down in the comments. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that sub button. We are going to be live for this game on Saturday at noon Eastern. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you're subscribed to Patriots Today. And as always, let's go Pats.